Hello everyone, and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Donna and Brooke at Forrester tell Katie that she can trust them. Ridge joins her in discussing how Luna escaped and went directly to Will. Katie feels grateful that Will be able to have a child with someone he loves rather than that sociopath. Thank God she's dead, and thank God Will is going to be okay. Who is that girl? Everything you should know about Dylan from Bold, and the beautiful they discuss how things could have turned out differently. Katie appreciates all of the wonderful sentiments. Brooke believes her stress level will decrease. Katie merely wants to look after her son and expresses gratitude to Electra for standing by him. That weird text in the design office. Will and Electra are perplexed by the text from the driver of the automobile that hit Luna. Electra asks, "What do you want from me? Who are you?" Will encourages she forget about it. The police have already ruled it was an accident. Electra listens as he pushes her to block the number before kissing him. Electra is working alone until Dylan interrupts. Electra exclaims that it's great to see her and wonders what brought Hayes' art school teacher to Forrester. Dylan gives her a coffee and recalls how they used to meet. Electra remembers that horrible day and expresses her relief that psychotic Luna had left. Will joins his mother, aunts, and Ridge in the main office, and they all inquire how he is doing. He hasn't completely figured everything out, but he appreciates his support team. Electra, most of all. Ridge assigns Will some chores, and he files out with his mother. Ridge is concerned that Katie is angry with a new public relations firm. Brooke believes she will realize it's an excellent idea. They go over there, and there is nothing Katie would not do for her son. Dylan informs Electra that she has a new phone number and apologizes for not contacting her sooner. Electra reflects on her experiences and accepts that taking time for herself is okay. They go over Luna, tricking her into believing she was an origami specialist named Miss Sunshine. Dylan recalls her drawing a gun on her and tying her up. If Luna had slain Steffi, she had no idea what she would have done. Dylan expresses a need for a companion, which explains her presence. Something else happened in my life. Electra feels something is dragging on her. Dylan is a peaceful lady who has dedicated her life to children. She would never intentionally injure anyone. That is why I have something to tell you. Katie is concerned about Will, who is in need of positive energies, and inquires about her and his father. Katie's happy, and the circumstance with Luna brought them together. She then asks about Electra. Will tells her about the strange text from earlier. In the main office, Brooke expresses her gratitude to Ridge for his support of Katie and Will. Steffi and Will survived Luna, but his child did not. Brooke believes it is beneficial for her nephew to focus on work and Electra. Ridge mentions hiring a public relations firm to make things simpler for Katie. Brooke hopes she will notice that. They talk about how loving Brooke is and make out. In the showroom, Will tells Katie that the text terrified Electra. He's not sure whether it was a joke. They're not sure who it was from, but it was intended for his girlfriend. The person informed her that they were the one who ran over Luna. Dylan hopes that Electra would not think less of her after she tells her. She was out near the shore the other night, close to their classes. She was driving when suddenly someone dashed into the road. She struck her. Dylan confesses the text came from her. It was an accident, I swear. She phoned the police right away. Electra exclaims, "You ran over Luna?" Dylan did, she killed her. Electra will aid her. We'll get through it together. Dylan stood in the kitchen of the small Venice Walk Street apartment, which he and Electra had painted the color of a summer Titapool the week they moved in. The late afternoon light streamed through the roof in long, slanted bars, collecting the dust that always seemed to float in this house no matter how often they swept. He held a mug that had gone cold 20 minutes before, twisting it in slow circles as if he might extract an answer from the coffee itself. Electra was at the counter, chopping cilantro with a type of focused ferocity reserved for pretending everything was all right. The knife fell with a beautiful, violent rhythm. Thwack, thwack, thwack. She hadn't glanced at him since he mentioned they needed to talk. "Electra," he began, then paused. The words felt too large, like furniture he couldn't fit through the doorway of his lips. She did not turn around. If you're about to tell me you're leaving again, Dylan, I swear to God I will throw this entire cutting board at your head. I'm not leaving. His voice trembled on the second syllable, betraying him. I mean, I left. That is part of it. I need to tell you something, but I'm not sure how to say it without seeming insane. The knife paused in midair. Cilantro leaves clung to the blade like miniature green flags of surrender. She slowly set it down and faced him. Her eyes were the color of damp ash, and they appeared to be capable of starting a fire. Try, she replied. He took one step forward, then another, until he could smell the lime on her hands. Do you recall the night of the electrical storm? Who was responsible for the 3-day power outage? She frowned. Of course. We lighted all those dumb candles, and you continued to play that damaged guitar. You said the darkness made you fearless. He laughed once, leaving no air behind.
Yeah, brave.
That's one word for it. He wiped his forehead with the heel of his hand. That night, after you had fallen asleep, I went outdoors. I could not sleep. The air felt electric, as if the storm had left something behind. I strolled down to the boardwalk, and there she was. Electra's entire body remained still. A woman. Not like that, he answered hurriedly, then winced because it was exactly like that, but not in the way she expected. She was standing under the shattered, flickering street lamp. She glanced at me as if she already knew my name. She said it. Dylan, he said simply, like if we'd met 100 times. Electra folded her arms after she murmured, It's time. Is it time for what? I suspected she was on something. I actually did. But then she reached out and touched my wrist, just here. He drew up his sleeve to reveal the faint silver scar that had developed the next morning, which he had told Electra was caused by the broken guitar string. And everything became white. It's not like passing out. Stepping into a different frequency. And when I could see again, I was somewhere else. Electra focused on the scar. Somewhere else, she said firmly. Another version of this apartment, he added, his words coming out faster now. Same layout, creaky third stair, and crack in the bathroom mirror. But it was 6 years in the future. And you were there. But you weren't yourself. You were older, and you had this look on your face, as if you'd waited so long for something that you'd forgotten how to hope. A little girl was sleeping in the second bedroom. She had your eyes. Electra's arms fell to her sides. Dylan. I know how it sounds, he blurted out. I told myself for months that it was a hallucination, that the storm fried my brain or caused me to have a stroke. But this happened again. And again. Every time there's a huge storm, the veil, frequency, or whatever it is thins and I slide through. I have been living 2 lives, here with you, trying to save you from becoming the woman I saw, the one who gave up. And there, 6 years from now, attempting to save our daughter from growing up without a father because, in that timeline, I vanished the night she was born. The stillness that followed was so complete that he could hear the ice machine in the freezer clunk and drop fresh cubes. Electra strolled past him, unlocked the rubbish drawer, and took out the emergency cigarette she had hidden their last New Year's. She lighted it with shaky hands, took one pull, and instantly began coughing. You're telling me, she continued between coughs, that you've been time-traveling every thunderstorm for the last 2 years, and you thought lying to me was the best way to deal with it. I didn't know how to tell you without losing you, he admitted. Every time I got close, I'd see that version of you. The one that stopped laughing at my idiotic jokes, moved out of our bedroom, and looked at me as if I were already dead. I was attempting to prevent that future. She took another pull, this time steadier. Have you? He looked down at his cold coffee.
No.
It's terrible now. The flat was vacant when the last jump occurred. You had both moved out. There was a message on the fridge that simply read, "We waited as long as we could." Electra stubbed the cigarette out on the edge of the sink, grinding it as if she could erase the previous 5 minutes. So what happens next, Dylan? You keep jumping in and out of timelines until you get it right? Until you figure out the secret combo that keeps me from abandoning you? That's not, he paused, since it was exactly what he had been doing, and they were both aware of it. She strolled to the window and looked out into the alley, where the neighbor's lemon tree produced fruit that no one ever picked. Do you know what the worst part is? She spoke quietly. I thought you were having an affair. I made up a scenario in my imagination about a girl with mermaid hair and a nose ring who worked at the record store on Abbot Kinney. I despised her. I loathed you. And the entire time, you were off playing Marty McFly with our hypothetical daughter. I'm sorry, he said quietly. Are you? She turned around. Because, from where I stand, you did not trust me enough to tell me the truth. You decided that I was too fragile, boring, or whatever to handle it. You made me a supporting character in your superhero origin story. That's not fair. Is it? Her voice rose. You have seen the future, Dylan. You got to hold our daughter. You have to know how much this hurts when it falls apart. And you still chose to keep me in the dark. He crossed the room in 3 steps and reached for her, but she backed away. Don't, she replied. I need to think. Alone. Electra, no. She raised her hand. You have had 2 years to process this. I had 10 minutes.
Give me the night.
He nodded, throat tight. I'll sleep on the couch. You'll sleep somewhere else, she said. I don't care where. Just not here. Across town, in a loft that smelled permanently of acrylic paint and weed, Will was pacing in circles while Katie sat cross-legged on the couch, scrolling through her phone with the kind of deliberate calm that meant she was furious. Okay, Will said for the 3rd time. I'm just going to show you the text again, because I feel like you're not grasping how completely unhinged it is. Katie didn't look up. William. I grasped it the first 4 times you read it out loud in that dramatic movie trailer voice. It's from an unknown number, he continued, undeterred, holding his phone like evidence in court. Tell Dylan that the alignment is in 3 days. If he misses this window, the fracture will be permanent. He understands what that means. And then, get this, a single lightning bolt emoji. Who does this? Katie finally set her phone down. Someone who is attempting to sound mysterious, but failing spectacularly. Will flopped onto the ottoman. This is what I get for being friends with a man who believes he's in a Christopher Nolan film. Remember when we were 22 and his biggest issue was choosing between 2 equally bad band names? Katie snorted. The Morning Wood or Captain and Tennille's? Yes, simpler times. Will rubbed his temples. When I searched for timeline fracture on Google, I only found Reddit threads about bad acid trips. I called him. Straight to voicemail. I texted him. Nothing. And now I've got this mysterious lightning bolt nonsense sitting in my phone like a bomb. Katie studied him for a long moment. You're really worried. Of course I'm worried. The last time Dylan remained radio silent for more than 48 hours, he was in the hospital with a concussion from crowd surfing at his own show. And that was before he reportedly discovered the power to quantum leap across thunderstorms. Katie sighed and patted the couch cushion next to her. Will sat heavily. Look, she began, I know you feel responsible for him. You always have. Ever since sophomore year when he tried to devour that entire sheet cake at the film department potluck and you held his hair back while he puked blue icing into a trash can shaped like R2-D2. Will managed half a smile. He still owes me for that trash can. They never aired that episode. But he's not 20 anymore, Katie continued gently. And whatever this is, midlife crisis, nervous breakdown, actual time travel, he has Electra now. She'll take care of him. Will shook his head. That's another thing. I drove past their house on my way here. His automobile is gone. Except for in the kitchen, all lights are turned off. And Electra was smoking outside the window, which she only does when she's one bad decision away from starting a fire. Katie fell silent. Shit. Yes. Shit. He looked at his phone again. What if the alignment thing is real? What if he's about to launch himself into a parallel universe and never return? Then we'll figure out how to get after him, Katie stated decisively. But first, we are heading to their residence. Together. Because if Dylan is experiencing a psychic break, he cannot do it alone, and Electra cannot murder him either. Solidarity in all things. Will glanced at her as if she had just offered to help him hide a body. You're my favorite person. I know, she replied, collecting her keys. Come on, Doc Brown. Let's go save or avenge your closest pal. Whichever comes first. Dylan sat on the curb outside the apartment, elbows on his knees, watching the sky become purple above the roofs. The air smelled like jasmine, heated asphalt, and the kind of remorse that only appears after you've confessed the truth too late. His phone vibrated in his pocket. He ignored it. Then it buzzed again. And again. Finally, he pulled it out. Unknown number, 3 days. Please don't make me come looking for you. He looked at the screen until the text blurred. Another text appeared, this time from Will. Dude, where the heck are you? We're coming over. Do not do anything unusual before we arrive. Dylan laughed in a broken tone that sounded almost like a sob. He texted back, too late for that. He pressed send and placed the phone face down on the concrete beside him. Overhead, the first rumble of distant thunder drifted in from the ocean, like an unexpected response. Inside the apartment, Electra stood in the bedroom they'd shared for 3 years, clutching a little knit bootie she'd purchased on impulse last month and concealed in her underwear drawer. She told herself it was foolish, that they hadn't even tried yet, and that she was tempting fate. She flipped it over in her hands, the soft blue yarn snagging on the hard edge of reality. On the nightstand, her phone flashed up with Katie's text. On our way. Wine and backups. Hold on tight. Electra wrapped her fist around the booty, and the yarn bit into her palm. She peeked out the window and noticed Dylan sitting on the sidewalk, his shoulders bent inward like a question mark. For the first time in hours, she felt something more intense than rage. It felt very much like terror. The thunder claps again, closer this time, and the streetlights flicker in warning. The text said 3 days. 3 days till the storm, which would decide everything. She slid the booty into her pocket, took a breath that tasted of salt, smoke, and second chances, then unlocked the front door. Dylan halted at the doorway, his palm hovering over the frame, as if entering the room would change everything. Electra looked up from the files on her desk, her brow furrowed at the strain he held. He quietly shut the door and took a slow breath. There's something I have to tell you, he whispered quietly. Electra stiffened, recognizing the weight of his words. Dylan had been aloof for days, retreating into himself whenever she attempted to approach. The truth he'd been hiding finally came out. He explained everything, the late-night meeting he shouldn't have attended, the secret he'd been expected to keep, and the communication he intercepted, which put them both in risk. As the words came out, Electra's amazement intensified, but something else simmered beneath it. Determination. Across town, Will paced the living room as Katie observed him with increasing perplexity. He handed her his phone, with the unusual text on the screen. It was cryptic, urgent, and somehow related to Dylan's confession. Katie reread it, her face stiffening. Whatever's happening, she replied, we're already part of it.